So for those of you who don't know, I originally wanted to become a cop. In fact, the majority of my first 2 years of college was studying criminal justice. That being said, I also was attended to the police academy for almost 3 months, and I got to work in the Citizens Academy. I got to be with police officers, I got to do ride-alongs, I was on scenes, got to see a guy get run over 3 times in the aftermath of having his entire rib cage almost nearly caved in and nearly died. I saw a lot of crazy stuff being basically an intern, essentially. It was volunteer work at the police department, and I was part of it. That being said, I have a great respect for police officers who do their duty in helping protect, but most of all, helping serve the community. Because for those of you who don't know, police officers are supposed to serve the community in which they're helping. They're supposed to be professional, and when I say professional, I mean they're supposed to not abuse their authority. And it is instances like this, the very, very short clip. You can watch the full video down below, it's linked, but I want to show you this short clip of a girl. And this girl, a medical call was announced, and it was a false call. I actually managed to pull up the police report for the Alaskan State Troopers. I read the police report, and I was absolutely shocked at the misconduct, but mostly the unprofessionalism that the Alaskan State Troopers did in this video you're about to see, this short little clip that I'm about to show you. So anyway, they arrive at the house, and they knock on the door, and typically when an officer is knocking on the door, officers are not allowed to come into your house unless you give them permission. And even if you give them permission to come into your house, it has to be from the owner who actually owns the house to give them permission. Now, granted, they didn't have permission from the owner of the house to come into the house. So, first off, big no-no. They're in the house from not having ownership give them permission. That being said, the girl in which they're interrogating, asking questions, they say, "Are you smoking pot?" She says, "Yeah, I'm smoking. I have marijuana in the house." They're like, "Yeah. You know that's not right. It's bad that you're doing marijuana." Which, by the way, I did double check, triple checked. It's perfectly legal to have marijuana in your own home. In Alaska, in the state of Alaska, is perfectly fine. I double-checked, triple-checked it. There's nothing wrong there. Nonetheless, they started interrogating this poor girl, and then they have a dialogue back and forth. You can watch the whole thing, and then the girl, the cop says, "We're done here," and turns around to his back to the door and starts to walk out the door, and the girl grabs the door very clearly, and then the officer turns around and then pushes her. Okay, she went for the door, and he pushes her and then arrests her for disorderly conduct, throws her to the ground. She asks, "What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for? For trying to shut my door? For trying to shut my door?" And throughout the almost entire video, she's, "What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for?" They take her outside, they put her in the car, and it's literally this dialogue. She's asking the police officers, which by law, they're supposed to give a reason for why they're being arrested. Most of all, they're also supposed to read their Miranda rights, neither of which happen. They go into the person's house, they break into the person's house, then bully this young girl, then arrest that girl for disorderly conduct when that cop was the person who actually assaulted the young girl. Now, you don't believe me? Here it is.
That's not my assumption to make. And that's not your job to be doing right now.
The denier of their own
Thank
substance
you.
abuse. Skylar.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for
Now
that.
you're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm not. Daniel, Sarah, did you see that?
I'm recording it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was reaching for the door.
Stay right there. Stay right there.
I've not done anything except for stand up for my goddamn rights as a person. You have no reason to be doing this without any grounds. Is this really necessary?
What are you guys arrested
I have the whole
for?
thing on tape.
What they arrest her for? What did she do?
She was trying to.
Caused by you guys doing what?
She is an adult, and we are not going to discuss her criminal matters with you. I don't care if you're a parent or.
Well, how do you get into my house to begin with?
Somebody called 911.
Somebody who's somebody, and you're not investigating them to call in a fraudulent call? Are you kidding me?
I'm not going to discuss her matters with you. I
Okay,
don't
well,
even
I'd like to
who
know
you
the
are.
matter of somebody calling, a fraudulent call into my house. How about we go there?
Maybe that happened.
Oh, so that's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay.
But you're
at
not
all.
going to do nothing about it.
Do what? Not
really?
respond to 911 calls of
Oh,
of a
so you
medical
can't go back
emergency?
and find out who made said call? You're dragging people out of my house and there's really no reason for you to be there, but it's okay?
Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I want to bring more awareness to these two officers, which, when I read the report, the Alaska State Office, the prosecutor actually has now prosecuted this young girl for assault of an officer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this girl is being prosecuted as assault. Now, granted, the files, I guarantee you are... Sorry. I guarantee you the files are going to be, the assault charges are going to be dropped because we have this video that clearly shows that this girl was assaulted by the police when she tried to shut the door, and they turned on her, arrested her, didn't read her. They violated, these officers violated every code of conduct that a cop is supposed to have when dealing with citizens. And that's why I'm making this, is to bring awareness to this problem, but most of all, call these two officers out, but most of all, I have their fan page, the Alaskan State Trooper, their fan page is linked down below. You can go there and you can see it. The Alaskan State fan page is actually blocking people who posts regarding this incident. No, I'm not making it up. They're blocking people on Facebook who are bringing this video up into question about the conduct of these officers and how they dealt with this young, innocent girl. And I'm sorry, but I have to defend someone when their rights are not only violated, but when you have two cops that break every single rule and then bully a girl in her own house and arrest her in her own house for trying to shut the door when you guys didn't even have full permission from the owners to even be there in the first place. As someone who wanted to become a cop at one point, you are insulting to what it is to be a police officer. You know nothing of what it is to be a police officer. You know nothing about serving the community. All you know is how to abuse your authority as a cop, and that is exactly what is done here. This is corruption at its finest. And I'm not going to sit around and allow the stuff like this to happen. If I was in this situation and this happened to me, I would react and do the exact same stuff that this girl was doing. What are you arresting me for? I'm going to resist you until you tell me what I'm being arrested for. Legally, they have to do that. And legally, they didn't do it. So down below, I have the Alaskan State Trooper fan page, and I ask you guys to watch this video down below. Most of all, go to the page and bring more awareness to this problem by posting either the original video or my video to their page, because stuff like this should not be tolerated at all. And these officers should be suspended, if not fired, for their misconduct on how to properly detain a citizen, but most of all, bullying and assaulting this young girl. And it really goes to show you how corrupt the Alaskan State Trooper Department is, at the fact that they're prosecuting a girl for assault charges when, I don't know if you know this, but if you get assault charges on your record, even if they're filed against you, that's going to be on your record, and it's going to be very difficult for anyone to ever get a job, even if the charges are dropped. It's still going to be on her record that the charges were filed, and that's going to affect her job. That's going to affect all future employment, because these two officers did an unprofessional job and basically just ruined this young girl's career for their lack of ignorance, but the lack of hypocrisy that an officer is supposed to not display.